How are we doing, metalers? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. We've got an album review, and we are talking about the new album from Exodus. The what many think should be the number 5 in the Big Five. I think that is a boring and tedious debate. It is the Big Four, not the best four, and it's about numbers. Who gives a shit? Yeah, I will say one thing though. Put my little 2 pence worth in. If you do the second tier of the Big Four, there's pretty much Testament, Exodus, Dark Angel, not Dark Angel, although they should be. Death Angel, that's it. I will say, you know, you can insert your fourth band there, Overkill. Yeah, say Overkill. All four of those bands have done better music in the last 20 years than anyone in the Big Four. So that's my take. But yeah, fuck the Big Four. It doesn't matter. If you like what you like, then that's all that matters. So yeah. Should we get on with it? Yeah. Well, anyway, Exodus, Persona non grata. It's just turned up in the post. I've got to go to work in a minute. I've got 7 night shifts to do. Fucking hell. But this will get me through it. I'll lie in, actually. I've cheated a bit. I did get a download of this about 2 weeks ago. And I hadn't listened to it as much as I should have. I kind of listened to it 2 or 3 times and went, yeah, Exodus is still Exodus. That's good. And I had other stuff to be getting on with, other videos to make, other reviews to write for Metal Legion. And I didn't think this was coming out to the 30th, but I got when I checked my emails first thing this morning, Exodus is coming today. So I listened to it 3 times today. And I've just quickly watched the DVD. Oh, it's not. You're not even getting a DVD with it. You're getting a Blu-ray. We're going up in the world. I'll just get this out. So yeah, you got your. You normally get like a little. I remember the last album came as like a little cardboard book with everything in. You had like a CD. Did you get a Blu-ray or a DVD with that last one? Can't remember. But I'm going to stop rambling in a minute and start getting into it. So right. There's a bit of a criticism for Exodus as of late, and it's, you could say, well, Force of Habit was pretty long, but pretty much the last couple of albums, and in particular, I think you can really start now with the Atrocity exhibition. Basically, the band, they're getting, the songs too long. Basically, we're getting they're suffering a little bit of too much of a good thing syndrome, and I think it really peaked on Atrocity exhibition B, the last album they did with Rob Dukes, and I remember then just thinking this is a really good album, but it's just too fucking long. It's like with everything so tight and precise and fast and frantic and chaotic, and it's all good, but it's like you've got Raining Blood, but it's trying to be and Justice for All, and that seems to be the paradigm in Thrash fans. You know, some people went off a bit proggy and a bit progressive, shall we say. They wanted to be a bit more melodic and play about with, so that I guess bands like Heathen went like that, while people wanted to keep it more in the realm of Raining Blood, where it was like short and to the point, and going for the juggler, you know. And yeah, it was a shame, because it's not there's some phenomenal material on that album, and it was, yeah, but it was just too much. It was a plate of food, and it was just piled up, and you're eating away, and it's like your nan's roast dinner, you know. This is delicious, but I can't eat all this, and it seemed like the band were in need of an editor, which contradicts the point I make, because I keep saying Andy Sneap should produce a Metallica album, because Metallica are in need of an editor, and that's why Andy Sneap should do it. But he clearly ain't editing Exodus. So, but I was going to make another point then. I forgot it now. I'm in love with the sound of my own voice. What was I trying to say? I'll come back to it in a minute, I'm sure. So yeah, that was a problem, and it seemed on the last album, Blood In, Blood Out, that they they addressed that. I don't know if it was a conscious thing, if they'd heard or whatever, but it just seemed that they had tidied things up slightly on that album, and here we are with Persona non grata, and on the first couple of listens, it felt like, oh dear, we're back to where we were, and I was kind of thinking on those first initial listens that this is pretty much where we were before. It's there's nothing bad here, but the songs tend to be a good minute longer than they need to be. And I do think it is that on the opening track, the title track, I do think it really kicks in later on, and I think there's a little like you know, like, and then another little widdly willy solo, and I did remember at one point thinking this song finished ages ago. Like there was a point where the song could have finished, and then there's just like jin, 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 jin. I despise you, or something like that. And I tried doing a Steve Zetro impression, killed my throat. But yeah, I'll come to my conclusion, but I'll go through the tracks. So because there is a lot going on here. It's an hour long, this album. It's bang on an hour, and you've got 12 tracks, but basically 11 songs. You've got a bit of an intro, an instrumental track 9, but that's sort of like a lead into the next song. But yeah, so Persona non grata, the opening track. There's no fucking about with this. There's no fancy bollocksy intro that then goes into the song. It's bang, it's straight in, no messing about. Really good riff that goes into the middle. It's like and then it goes and then you know, it kicks in, and it is really fucking good, and it is really good to hear. It's just good to hear Exodus again. Before the lockdown, the emergency, shall we say, Exodus, I saw Testament, Exodus and Death Angel in the forum, in the Kentish Town forum that week. So I actually went to 3 gigs that week. I saw I can't remember what order we did it in. Yeah, I saw Batushka, whatever the fuck they're called, and I mainly went because Malevolent Creation were opening. Saw them, I think that was a Tuesday. Then I think it was the Thursday we saw Testament, Exodus and Death Angel, and then the next night we went to the Dome and we saw Blaze Bayley doing the Maiden set, the Iron Maiden set, and then next week that was it. That was when the lockdown happened. So this album was recorded during lockdown, and a lot of albums at the moment have been sort of like Iron Maiden, for example. That album was 2 years old when it came out, and Carcass was the same. This was written and recorded during the lockdown. It was like, well, we're not doing anything else, we might as well write an album. And on the Blu-ray, you get a documentary of the making of the album, and it's really cool to watch, actually. The basically Tom Hunting, the drummer, who has recently gotten over cancer, so congratulations, and good health and best wishes to you. Phenomenal job on this album as well, by the way. But he'd bought some cabin up in the mountains, out in the woods, and built a studio in it, and the band basically went there and wrote and recorded together. There's a bit where Steve says, you know, this is the first time where we've all sort of recorded together. Normally we sort of did it in shifts. He went like, I've recorded albums in the past with a bass player and a drummer I haven't even seen. They're done and finished and gone. I suppose work, you know, I don't know what the personal circumstances are for the band. I don't know if any of them still work jobs or whatever. I know Chuck Billy apparently runs a long distance lorry driving business on the side of Testament. He does something like that. But yeah, really good documentary, and you see a few parts of it. There's a few videos of it on YouTube on the Nuclear Blast channel, but this is like full length. So yeah, you only get a few snippets on the thing, but yeah, you get the full thing. Pretty cool documentary. Anyway, well worth a watch. So it's worth getting this special edition if you're watching this around the time it's released. Yeah, definitely spend the extra £1 or £2 or whatever to get the Blu-ray edition. And if you're watching this in 1,000 years' time, then yeah, track down the limited edition that you can't get hold of anymore. So what I'm saying is, yeah, so what's been happening in the last 2 years is very much present in listening to this, and it's present in the lyrics as well. You can tell the band are getting frustrated with the as we all are, with the changing narratives, the moving of the goalposts. There's a song on here as well, like Clickbait, the Fires of Division. Obviously, what's been going on in America with with a load of different events that's been going on there. It's been going on for a few years now, and I think that they kind of. I've watched an interview as well where you've got differing political opinions even within the bands, and they're being grown-ups and putting it aside, and instead of concentrating on what we disagree on, let's concentrate on what we've got in common, and be fucking adults, and that's it's good to hear someone finally saying that. So yeah, that's addressed on Clickbait and Fires of Division. But Elitist and Slipping Into Madness, Prescribing Horror. That's a really good track as well, which talks about the pharmaceutical industry. So Persona Non Grata and what's the second track? Is REMF. You're in pretty much. It's basically throwing you back into that familiar territory. And then Slipping Into Madness has got a good little groove on it. Slipping into madness. Instantly recognisable chorus. I thought Chuck Billy might have turned up on a couple of tracks. He's been doing backing vocals on I know he did on the last album anyway, and I know he's the band's manager. He was, at least. But no, it's actually Steve's sons. So the guys in Hatred that are doing the backing vocals on it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Slipping Into Madness has got that good little groove that is in a similar sort of territory as Body Harvest or something like that. Elitist is a real balls to the wall song, which you've got a good little mixed package here. You've got your real fast balls to the wall songs that you want from Exodus. Then you've got songs that are a bit longer, a bit more, they sort of go off the beaten track a little bit, go into these cool little jammy sections with the solos. Some of them can be a bit of an over-egged pudding at times, others not so much. But then you've got tracks like Prescribing Horror, where things get pretty dark. And that's a pretty cool song, actually. A very dark, brooding song. That's really cool, actually. And the Years of Death and Dying is pretty much in the same realm as that. The Beatings Will Continue. That's a pretty good song. I like that the more I hear it. That's pretty much with Elitist as well. Very a 3-minute sort of, again, 1,000 miles an hour, white heat intensity. And it's a bit of a palate cleanser after Prescribing Horror. I'm trying to think if it was Fires of Division or The Years of Death and Dying. I can't remember, but it's got a really good sung chorus. I'm sorry, I didn't make notes for this, and I'm shooting from the hip. But it doesn't matter. One of them's got a really cool sung chorus. Fuck, I can't remember the words. I don't know, but the Lunatic Liar Lord. That is the Hallowed Be Thy Name of the album. And it's like the album's actually split in two. So if you go from Persona Non Grata down to Clickbait, arguably speaking, the album could have ended there, in all fairness. But and then on Cosa del Pantano, which is the minute instrumental, which is basically just I don't know if it's an acoustic guitar. I don't know if he's got like a banjo, or I don't know what the instrument is. But you kind of hear like a load of frogs. It sounds like they're out in a swamp or something. You hear the old crickets going, and like a it might just be an acoustic guitar. I don't know, but you get like a little out in the country, sitting on a porch sort of introduction, which then leads into the same sort of clean riff, leading into what was the song called? Lunatic Liar Lord. And awesome song. It really is good. And this is where it gets a bit funny, because Clickbait, like, yeah, that could have finished the album. And then you get this nice little introduction. So this is kind of introduces the second half of the album. And then you got this 7-minute sort of epic. And it is a really good track. It is. I was complaining earlier about songs being a little bit too long. But I think this one, you kind of forgive it. And yeah, it's a big, massive. And it's like, again, this could have been a closer, a big dramatic closer as well. And very much in the name of like Hallowed Be Thy Name on Number of the Beast. That was like the album closer, mic drop, have that, the big epic at the end, the climax. And then the Fires of Division kicks in. He's like, and you do kind of think, this isn't really necessary. We don't really need this song. It could have ended on that. But Fires of Division is a really good track. And you go, all right, fair enough. Yeah, we'll go in with them. And then Anti-Seed kicks in, and you're like, oh, is this really necessary? Do I really need this song? But again, it is a very good song, and it kind of ends like the end of a live track. The song does kind of end, but they kind of come back for one final sort of jam at the end. It's a bam, 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 you know. So it kind of plays like the encore of a gig, and so the last three songs is free. Yeah, the last three songs, anyone could have been a closer of an album. It's like the album's got three climaxes, and it's really good. So, taking into account what I was saying at the beginning, the whole criticism of the bands doing albums that are a bit too long and they're being a bit over-egged puddings. In fact, I saw a review on Blabbermouth where he said this is an hour-long album, which inside this, there's a 45-minute masterpiece lurking in here somewhere. And I kind of got his point, but I do think they reviewed that album a bit too quick. I think the author of that review rushed it a bit, and so like I say, I'm well aware of that criticism, and you could argue that it is still there. But at the end of the day, if that's what's putting you off Exodus, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Gary Holt has said, like, I just write what I write, and when it feels like it's finished, it's finished. I don't really take any notice until after the fact. Iron Maiden say pretty much the same thing. It looks like but it looked like they tidied it up on the last album. And in all fairness, this is actually the shortest album in a long time. I mean, let's quickly go back a little bit. We've got Exhibition B was the one where I said like they're just taking a piss on this album, and that album is actually an hour and 14 minutes. Blood In, Blood Out is an hour and 2 minutes, and like I said at the time, yeah, like this Exhibition B, man, I was like, this could easily be quarter of an hour shorter, and even if it was a quarter of an hour shorter, it would have been still an hour. But even then, I think there could have been a lot. But yeah, Blood In, Blood Out is an hour and 2 minutes. And this is bang on an hour, so we've even lost 2 minutes. So they have shaved quite a bit off compared to Exhibition B. But I did think on that first initial listen or two, yeah, that we've come back to where we were. But with subsequent listens, it bothered me less. But I've now gone one step further in my conclusion, and I've concluded this album, they've pulled it off. Yes, it is it is a longer album, but on this album, it's no longer an issue. That's what my conclusion with it. I don't actually mind this being an hour long. It's actually a pretty effortless listen, and I'm just being summoned into the house now, so I suppose we'll get to wrap this up. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this. Like I say, it is a long album. It is an hour long. But I think where we said, you know, this is Rain in Blood trying to be... You want Rain in Blood, or you want Bonded by Blood, but you're getting And Justice for All, and that's what I want because it's over long, blah, blah, blah. No. This album, they've pulled it off. They've taken the big, majestic song structures and the big, you know, progressive elements and the big jammy sections of And Justice for All, but they've compared it... They've mixed in the ferocity of Bonded by Blood and Rain in Blood, and on this album, rather than those two elements sort of hitting each other and cancel each other out like opposite magnets, this time it gels and they've pulled it off. So like I say, it didn't bother me the more I listened to it, and the more I listen to this, yeah, I'm accepting it for what it is, and I think this is the best album they've done since Exhibition A, maybe. I mean, even that, I love that first album they did with Rob Dukes. That was only 50 minutes. But yeah, maybe 50 minutes is probably the sweet spot. They should maybe be aiming for that. But fuck it. It's been how long since the last album? It's been, yeah, the last album was 2014. So you can't exactly complain. In 7 fucking hell, yeah, nearly 7 years. The first album you get in 7 years from a band is, oh, you've got loads of music, you know. It's probably, yeah, you don't need to complain about that. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I think it's a really good, varied mixture of songs, and it gets better with every listen, and it reveals more with every listen. So definitely check this out. It's well worth your time. Exodus are back, and in a good place. So, have a good weekend, everyone, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Take care.